That and more coming up in just a bit. Good morning, I'm Fort Hatchett, filling in for Jackie Pascal this morning. Brian Slocum is also with us bright and early, and we will start with Brian in the First Warning Weather Center.
Yeah, we had a little taste of summer toward the end of the week. And
it was nice.
It was nice. A little something for everybody, I like to phrase it that way. But we actually touched 80 in a lot of different communities yesterday. Today, not a chance. Nowhere near it. In fact, the best will do are the mid-60s. So considering how the leaves are beginning to change over the area, and we're getting some evidence of that from some of our viewer photos that are coming in. Monty Combs from Wilkesboro sent this beautiful fall photo. He's been sending me photos all week of the leaves beginning to change along the Blue Ridge Parkway. Great shot here. Monty, looks like you're standing in the middle of the road, though. Maybe not the best thing there, but make sure you're careful when you take these photos, too. Here's another one, autumn colors. You can see the reds and the oranges starting to pop up in the higher elevations. They're actually getting close to peak above 5,000 feet, which is obviously not where a lot of folks are, but eventually it'll start to work its way into lower elevations in the coming weeks. And typically in the Triad, it's usually the first half of November that provides us the best color and autumn splendor. As far as temperatures go, low to mid 50s this morning. Temps are still coming down, and in most cases we're a little bit warmer than where we started this time yesterday. Cold front ahead of the front warmed us up. It just got through. We just haven't seen a lot of a temperature adjustment yet. It's coming, and will come a little bit differently. Instead of a cool morning and a really warm afternoon, the sunshine and the cooling temperatures will kind of offset one another. So in those cases, you just see more of a gentle warm up and then a bigger warm up. We'll see temperatures in the mid 60s, much cooler than it was 24 hours ago. And it gets colder tonight. We're going to be out for dinner tonight or go to the Wake Forest game. We are expecting some colder weather to begin once the sun goes down. 50s and eventually 40s. And we'll see temperatures 40 or lower over a good majority of the area, prompting a freeze warning for the mountains for the first time this season. That goes in effect at 11 o'clock tonight, all the way through about mid-morning tomorrow. We'll have more on the frost concerns that even the foothills and the Triad have for later tonight. That's all coming up.
Thank you, Brian. We will pivot to Commitment 2022. The congressional midterm election is now just about a month away, and the two major party candidates in our state's most high-profile race met on the debate stage in Raleigh last night. Congressman Ted Budd and former state Supreme Court Chief Justice Cheri Beasley both hope to replace Senator Richard Burr when he retires in January. As you can see here, they're currently neck and neck in the polls, and the candidates clashed for an hour last night on topics like abortion and inflation.
We know that corporations are seeing 70-year record profits and using that as a cover for inflation and jacking up prices. And Congress can stop that. But Congressman Ted Budd hasn't stopped that, and in fact, he's actually helping it. I mean, he's the one who's not, he's voted against lowering drug prices and gas prices while taking corporate PAC money from oil and drug companies.
Joe Biden went way too far with the American Rescue Plan. That was a $2 trillion unnecessary spending plan. So I would be against that. And your earlier question was, what do we need to do? Well, we need to encourage energy, not shut down the Keystone Pipeline like Joe Biden did. We need to encourage work and make sure that we have enough folks that go back into the workforce, and we need to stop over-regulating. Those are things that are keeping the goods from being produced and is part of what is driving up costs right now, driving up inflation.
I support the Roe versus Wade framework, which allows for protections and restrictions on abortion later in pregnancy, so that when abortion happens later in pregnancy, it only happens when there are serious problems, like when the mother's life is at risk. That's what Roe tells us.
I do prefer that this belongs to the states. I think our Supreme Court actually sent it back there. But if the Democrats, including what Ms. Beasley would clearly support as the most extreme bill in history when it comes to abortion rights, that's the Women's Health Protection Act. If they're going to do that, I'm going to counter that federally. But at the same time, I do believe it belongs to the states. I would clarify that it's not enumerated in the Constitution. Now, it may be dealt with, and it has been dealt with in the Supreme Court, but as a judge, I believe she should know that.
And after the debate, Wake Forest political science professor Dr. John Dinan says we didn't learn much new information from last night's debate, but both candidates took the conversation exactly where they wanted to go with it. However, he says there was one moment that stood out to him.
That issue of marijuana came up, and Beasley quite clearly said, I would be in favor of legalizing recreational marijuana, and Bud said, I want no part of that. So sometimes you did get some new issues, or some issues that were not necessarily top of mind in the campaigns, and yet they came to the fore. So that it does kind of generate some information and contrast that could be helpful to voters in making up their decision.
And we've put together a North Carolina voter guide to make things a little bit easier for you. All you have to do is pull out your phone and scan this QR code on your screen right now. Then click on the link that pops up and it'll take you right to the voter guide, which includes important dates, how to find your polling place, and facts about the election. School safety is one of the top issues for voters heading into the midterms, according to a new poll from High Point University. It found 74% of those polled cited school safety as a very important issue for the state right now. It topped abortion, education, and jobs.